The pistol shrimp is no bigger than your finger, and it's a crack shot. One of its two claws functions just like a handgun, and other shrimp are targets. When prey is in range, the claw is cocked. The claw snaps shut so fast.
Why it sucks to be born as a pistol shrimp, the ocean's loudest hitman. You pop into existence in the warm shallows buried under a thin layer of sand. You're barely the size of a paperclip, your eyes are wobbly little marbles, and your giant, claw? Yeah, apparently you were born with one arm bigger than the other. No one gave you an instruction manual, so right now it's just this awkward chunk of shell you drag through the sand like a kid carrying a baseball bat they can't even swing. You try to move it with some swagger, but really you just look like you're hauling around a broken piece of cutlery you stole from a dollhouse. Your first mission? Don't get eaten in the first 5 minutes, which is going to be tricky because everyone out here wants a snack, and you look like a crunchy little peanut with eyes. Every shadow passing overhead is either a passing cloud or something with teeth. The problem is you can't tell which until it's too late. Your defensive strategy right now consists of flailing randomly, burying your head in the sand, and hoping the rest of your body somehow becomes invisible. Spoiler, it doesn't. You try to swim for safety, but here's the thing. You're terrible at swimming. Your back legs kick like you're pedaling an invisible bike. Your body keeps tilting sideways, and that giant claw is basically an anchor pulling you down. Graceful? Not even close. You look like a shrimp that failed its driving test. Sometimes you even end up drifting backwards, which is as humiliating as it sounds. But the real humiliation starts when you try to get food. You spot a tiny worm squirming just above the sand. You creep forward, heart pounding, and you try to grab it with your oversized claw. Except all you manage to do is scoop a pathetic puff of sand into your own face. The worm wriggles away, probably laughing its non-existent butt off. So much for being a fierce predator. Days pass. You learn to hide in little tunnels you dig under rocks, poking your eyes out like a periscope to watch for danger. But every time you see something tasty swim by, you still miss your shot. The claw's just too slow. Or maybe you're too slow. Either way, you're one bad meal away from starving. Sometimes you miss so badly you scare yourself and hide from the bubbles you just made. Then one day, everything changes. You're lurking near your tunnel entrance when a nosy little fish wanders too close. You don't know why, but you feel this surge of irritation. You rear your claw back, squeeze with all your might, and boom! A shockwave blasts out from your claw, the water literally implodes, and the fish flops sideways like it just got hit by a tiny underwater grenade. The noise is deafening. You freeze in shock, partly from what you just did, partly because you might have burst your own eardrums. Turns out you're not just a shrimp with a big claw. You're a living gun. That snap was so fast it created a bubble that collapsed with enough force to make a blast of heat hotter than the surface of the sun. All from your tiny claw. You're basically an arms dealer the size of a French fry. Scientists would call it cavitation. You call it Tuesday. And just like that, your life changes. Suddenly food is easy. See a fish? Dinner? Crab giving you attitude? Instant respect. Even bigger predators think twice about messing with you. You feel invincible. You start strutting, or whatever the shrimp version of strutting is, around the reef, looking for excuses to snap, which is exactly when nature decides to humble you. You're out hunting when a shadow falls across the sand. At first you think it's a cloud. Then you see teeth. Lots of teeth. A moray eel, 3 times your size, weaving through the rocks toward you. You freeze, then dart backward into your tunnel. The eel sticks its snout in after you, snapping its jaws, and you realize hiding isn't going to save you this time. Your heart's pounding. Your claws ready. You take aim at its face, and the water explodes between you. The eel jerks back, dazed, but it's still coming. You fire again, bubbles bursting, the shockwave rattling the sand. The eel hesitates. If you're cheering for me to win this, hit that subscribe button right now, because if I don't make it, at least you'll know how the loudest shrimp in the ocean went out swinging. You load another shot? Well, not really load, more like just open and close your claw again. But the eel finally decides you're not worth the headache. It slides back into the rocks, leaving you alone in your sandy fortress. You sit there, claw still raised, trying to look like you planned that whole thing. Deep down, you know you just got lucky. From then on, your reputation grows. Other shrimp keep their distance. Little fish veer away from your burrow. You start upgrading your tunnel system like you're some kind of underwater arms dealer / real estate mogul. You even dig multiple entrances so you can ambush from different angles. You consider charging rent, but then remember, your tenants would probably just eat you. But power comes with problems. For starters, your claw isn't just a weapon, it's also a maintenance nightmare. Break it, and you're basically just a regular shrimp with a bad limp until it grows back. And growing it back? That means weeks of being the ocean's easiest target, so you're constantly paranoid about getting it caught in rocks, bitten off, or accidentally snapping it on something useless like a passing shell. Then there's the noise. You'd think being the loudest creature for your size in the entire ocean would be a flex, and it is, until you realize everyone can hear you. Want to sneak up on prey? Too bad, they all heard your last shot from halfway across the reef. Want a nap? Forget it. Every idiot fish in a quarter-mile radius knows exactly where you are. And the worst? Sometimes you miss. You line up the perfect shot, your prey's right there, you snap, and nothing. The bubble misfires, the sound's pathetic, and now you've just announced yourself to every predator in the neighborhood. Smooth move, gun hands. You can practically hear the reef gossip. Did you hear? Loudmouth over there missed again. Still, life's not all bad. You've mastered the art of using your claw to hunt, defend, and even remodel your home. You've had a few more run-ins with predators, but now you know how to fire off warning shots, make yourself look bigger, and retreat before things get ugly. Then one day, you meet another pistol shrimp. She's just your size, her claw gleaming in the sunlight filtering through the shallows. You try to act cool, casually snapping at a passing crab to show off. Unfortunately, you forget that your blast also sends a shockwave through the sand, and now you've just collapsed part of your own tunnel right on top of yourself. Smooth. But she doesn't swim away. In fact, she helps you dig out. And just like that, you've got a partner in crime. 2 claws, twice the firepower. You dig matching tunnels, share meals, and occasionally snap in sync just to scare the pants off the local fish population. You even develop a double snap maneuver that could probably knock a sardine in 2 next week. That's life as a pistol shrimp. You're small, loud, and armed with a weapon so ridiculous it shouldn't exist. You spend your days hunting, building, and defending your little patch of sand like it's the crown jewels. And yeah, sometimes your shots miss, your claw jams, or you accidentally blow up your own house, but you wouldn't trade it for anything. Because here's the thing. In a world full of big fish and bigger predators, being small doesn't have to mean being helpless. Sometimes it just means you've got the loudest punch in the ocean. So, if you only had one sonic blast to fire at your biggest enemy, who or what would you aim it at? Drop it in the comments, I'm taking notes.
It fires a bubble bullet, up to 62 miles an hour. The bubble bursts and stuns the prey. It all happens in a fraction of a second. The fastest gun in the sea.
Like and subscribe.